Let's put this up. Good. Well, I say hello. It is a Wednesday, the 20th of November. First thing in the morning on a very cold day, and the coffee is on. I've got the coffee here, and this is the Mellow Financial Live for Mortgage Q&A. Do this quite regularly. It goes live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Forgive me, I'm just setting up the thing here. So I've moved that around on YouTube. I apologise. So yes, I'm just setting up the screen here. So we are live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. A chance for you to ask your questions in relation to the mortgage world and what's happening. Had some figures out this morning about inflation, which has had a bit of a sharp increase, which might suggest we've had our last Bank of England base rate cut for the year, because if inflation remains like that, then chances are we're not going to have another one. So, excuse me 1 second. Yes, so that wasn't good news to wake up to. But, you know, it won't affect your fixed rates anyway. So don't worry about that. But if you'd like to ask any questions, then obviously I'm here. How much can I ask off the house if the survey found that the roof is leaking? Well, you got three options there. You ask the vendor to rectify it before exchange of contracts, so they pay to get it done, or you ask them to take off the value that you're going to have to spend to do the work, or you walk away, quite frankly. But certainly, if there are repairs to make to the roof, then you're going to want to negotiate something. Certainly, that's the point of getting a survey. It highlights these issues prior to you purchasing the house. So that, you know, there's not any surprises when you get in there. But yeah, good question to start with there. Thank you very much. I am just looking at something here. But yeah, do feel free to ask any other questions. Can you add stamp duty to your mortgage? No, you can't add stamp duty to the mortgage. Well, having said that, you could borrow more than you actually need for the property. Thinking more about a remortgage, so taking additional funds, but then you wouldn't pay stamp duty. It's going to be a struggle too, because your mortgage borrowing is going to be against the deposit. So yeah, it's going to be really difficult to work those numbers generally. So yeah, good morning. Why? If you haven't stepped outside yet, it's cold. It is a cold one this morning. So do bear that in mind. You might need to defrost the car. Maybe I'm speaking to you while you're defrosting the car, or even sat in it with the blowers on, waiting for it to do defrost. But do ask the questions, and I shall keep you company and answer them for you. That inflation news was a bit of a shock. Roughly how long after search has been completed does exchange completion take place? There's no sort of set time. Just you need to keep in touch with your solicitor on that one. They're going to be the ones that can give you the best time frame on that, because they know what's happening. Also depends whether you're in a chain. If you're in a long chain, then exchange and completion can be quite a way apart, because you're going to have to wait for all elements of the chain to be ready so that they can then complete. I have 15k in credit card debt, 18k personal loan, never missed a payment, so can I still get a mortgage? Potentially you can. What those debts affect is how much you can borrow. So, I mean, it's all relative. If you're paid a massive salary, the repayments on those debts won't really cause an issue. But if it becomes borderline, then you might struggle, because you just might not be able to borrow what you need for a purchase while those debts remain as they are. They are committed expenditures, which means the money each month you are committed to pay it back, and that money can't be used on a mortgage repayment, so therefore you won't be able to borrow as much. Can you get a mortgage with a score that's average fair? So credit score is irrelevant. It's the credit history. It's the credit history that's taken into account. So your whole 6 years of what's happened on your credit file, essentially what's behind the credit score is what lenders are looking at. And, if there's issues on there, such as defaults, CCJs, then you're going to have to be going to specific lenders that will accommodate those as part of their lending criteria. Need to know what's behind the credit score, basically. If you want to find out, you can get a Check My File report. There is a link in my TikTok bio so you can go and download a free one. Is people on universal credit go for mortgage? There are lenders that take universal credit into account, not the housing element. They may want you to have employed income to go with it, but certainly there are lenders that take it into account. Is there usually a charge to pay off your mortgage early? So, Mike, if you're in a fixed term deal, there will be a charge to come out of that deal, break that deal. It's called an early repayment charge. However, if you're outside of any fixed deal, then chances are there won't be any big costs. You might have to pay like a, I don't know, £90 fee at the end of the mortgage or something, but generally not. Morning, Lauren. Great to see you. Will you get a mortgage for rent to buy with the council? What? You can't do rent to buy with the council. How are interest rates looking? Are they falling? No. Fixed rates have been going up for the past couple of weeks. All the major lenders. Most major lenders, excluding Halifax, have put their rates up. So that includes Nationwide, NatWest, HSBC, Barclays. We've had nothing from Halifax so far. So I'm wondering what's going to happen. Are they just riding this out? Interesting strategy to see what they're doing. But yeah, it's all been going up. And this morning, we had some rather disappointing numbers with regards to inflation, which might suggest that another Bank of England base rate cut this year isn't going to be likely. Can you get 5% deposit if you have 2 late payments, 2 months each, not defaulted? No, I don't think so. You do need to have a relatively pretty clean credit file to get accepted onto 5% deposit mortgages. How can I improve my chance of getting a mortgage? Have a good credit file, have a good deposit, have good income. That should be about it. Landlord wants to sell me with a discount. How do I get a valuation if we're not using estate agents? A lender will do the valuation, or you can pay for one yourself. Contact a RICS surveyor, RICS. If you contact us, we can provide a quote for a RICS valuation if you like. Can you see my question? Hannah, I can see that question. What fixed term deal would you recommend? I would only recommend anything to you if you were a client of ours and I knew your full situation, so that I'd be able to advise what's the best solution for you. How much income do I need to get a buy-to-let second mortgage of 150? Jay, it's dependent on what rate taxpayer you are, how much rental income the property will achieve. You're going to need a 25% deposit. But yeah, it's largely worked out on the rental income. Can you get a mortgage if you plan to knock down and rebuild the property? Absolutely not, no. Let's all just agree that getting a mortgage is a farce. Tristan, absolutely not. Let's not agree with that. Let's just agree you're chatting shit. One missed payment, 62k, 50k deposit. Will the payment be an issue? It will potentially... not an issue. It might just limit your lender choice a little bit, but we could accommodate that. RICS 2 or RICS 3. It's not a survey you're looking for, Ray. It's a valuation. Do you think people focus too much on interest rates? Absolutely. When sourcing mortgages, it's not just about the rate. There's many other factors that go into it. We're looking at the product fees. We're looking at the term of the mortgage, any associated early repayment charges, any cash back. Does it provide a free valuation? Does it provide free legals? There's many different things that get taken into account when sourcing mortgages. It's not about the rate. If you solely focused on the rate, you're probably going to end up with a more expensive option. There's probably a cheaper option out there, despite there being a slightly higher rate. Do you have issues with remortgaging a 5-bed HMO? No. Can you start viewing properties if you haven't got your whole deposit but will have it on exchange? Probably not, because estate agents may ask to see full evidence of your funds before they allow you to view properties. It depends. It totally depends on the mortgage, on the estate agent, and also the mortgage broker, whether they are prepared to do the work if you haven't got the full deposit yet. I've got a home, partner rents. We want to combine to bring all family together. Can we do part own? What do you mean part own? On what factors does buy to let depend? How would rent be affected? The rent you charge is largely what the affordability for the buy-to-let loan is worked out on. With right to buy, when a discount is used as a deposit, is the monthly mortgage less? No. It will be the same as whether you use money for the deposit. Not really. The monthly payment is a monthly payment, regardless of where the deposit has come from, whether it's a discount or cash. What do you think will happen to interest rates next year? Nobody knows. No one can tell you. I'm not prepared to say either way because it's most likely going to be wrong because the world is such a changeable place. We just don't know what's going to happen. Big factor. Trump is now in power. We don't know what impact that's going to have. Inflation after the budget. Already inflation is going up again. So it's just so difficult to say. What does exchange mean on an advert? What advert? What's typical multiple on your salary you can loan these days? My typical is 4.5 times, but there are instances where you can get 5, 5.5, sometimes 6 times. But yeah, the bog standard is 4.5 times income. Been in council house 10 years. Okay. Is buy-to-let easy to get, even if you've got low self-employed profit and got 25% deposit? It's not, I mean, it's not easy to get. It still has to go through checks and balances. But if the numbers stack up, then it should be fine. It just depends whether your rental income is going to cover the mortgage repayments. If it's not, then it's going to have to come down to top slicing, i.e. you're going to have to contribute some yourself. Now, if you're on low income, then that's going to be difficult to do. But you know, if it's a case of the numbers stacking up in terms of rent covering the mortgage, yeah, it should be fine. 25% deposit, yes, you got that. You got money for the fees. So yeah. What to do if mortgage offer is declined during conveyancing stage? You need to find a new lender. You need to find a new mortgage provider. Is it possible to get a mortgage with a partner if I'm self-employed but only have 1 year's full accounts? Yes, Greg, it is, yeah. There are lenders who will go off 1 year's self-employed accounts. You are limited in lender choice, but yeah, there are ones that do it. Absolutely. Ideally, you'd have 2 or more years for self-employed, but yeah, we got lenders that do it off 1 year, and maybe even a projection for next year. Just depends on what we're looking at and what we're dealing with. But yes, can you get a mortgage while on maternity leave? Yes, it depends what your plans are post maternity leave. So if you are going back to work as you were previously, so same hours, same income, just ask for a letter from your employer to confirm that, and then your pay slip before you went off, and a lot of lenders will be happy with that. It then obviously depends what's going to happen with your child, because you can have a dependent. Are you going to have childcare costs? All needs to be looked at. But in theory, yeah, it is possible to get a mortgage. What deposit would you advise a first-time buyer? As much as you can. The more deposit you can put down, the better, because it means you've got to borrow less, which means your repayments will be less. It also means you'll probably get a better rate. You'll have a great choice of lenders. So as much as you can, the more the better. I've been looking at grade 2 listed flat above a shop. I'm like, is that a good idea? No. Yeah. No, that's going to be a struggle. I've got incorrect address linked to my credit file. How can I contact Equifax TransUnion? I'm sure if you go through Check My File, they might give you guidance. There is guidance on there how you can do that. Do I have to tell the mortgage lender I am pregnant and will be on maternity leave shortly? If you are in a mortgage, no. If you are applying for a mortgage, yes. Which bank you recommend? The one that is most suitable for your circumstances and requirements. There isn't a one-size-fits-all with any of this. It's all down to individual situations. You're calling. Okay, well, there's no one to answer your call right now. It's before 9 o'clock and I'm doing this. Will this be a problem? What's that? Combined income of 45k, but one person is only on guaranteed minimum hours contract, not salary. That's fine. So it is a 0-hour contract. It just goes off. So it goes off what the pay is. You're probably going to need 12 months pay slips. I'm not sure if I understand the situation entirely, but I don't see it being a huge issue. At what point do you take your fee? We charge it when we get you a formal mortgage offer. Our sellers agreed to pay 2 months of our rent, but they won't add a rider and send direct. That's a thing for your solicitor to sort out. I made some quotes for car insurance and now it comes as a soft check and I'll apply for mortgage. Yeah, soft checks are fine. Don't worry about soft credit checks. Mortgage brokers charged me $7.99 lifetime fee applicable, $3.99 searches payable. Crikey. Is that a load of bull? Yeah, too expensive. Can you get me a mortgage? Potentially, depending on your situation. Can I get a mortgage of 5% deposit as a first-time buyer and partner's recently started job? Yes, you should be able to. As long as you've both got good credit files, you should be all right. 5% mortgages, 5% deposit mortgages often require you to have very clean credit history. So, you know, there are relatively tight credit scoring requirements around them. But if you've got that, if you've got a good clean credit history, like I say, check it on Check My File. That'll give you a good view if there's any issues. So, yeah, have a look at that, see if there's any issues, and that will answer. Mortgage advisor asked me to pay 1% of value of the loan. Is that too much? Well, if it depends how much mortgage you're taking out. I would always operate on a fixed fee because then you know how much you're paying. Because, of course, give you 1% up front, you don't actually know how much it's going to cost you until all numbers have been done. So go on a fixed fee. There's not many that charge a percentage of the loan. 350k, crikey. Best lender for remortgage right now. Debbie, it's the best lender for your needs and your circumstances. What's our fixed fee? 349. Would you recommend paying lump sum of mortgage or get a second property? I can't recommend that. I'm a mortgage advisor, not a financial advisor, I'm afraid. That would probably be one to speak to an IFA about. There may even be a better option than getting a second property and becoming a landlord. I certainly wouldn't want to be a landlord, that's for sure. Would emptying my CA into savings each month affect my mortgage application? What's your CA? Would you recommend a fee-free broker? Not necessarily. I'm the only broker I'm going to recommend is ourselves anyway. Current account. Okay. Would emptying my current account into savings each month affect my mortgage application? No. What you do is you just send statements for your savings account, statements for your bank account, and then you can see where it's easily going. It's not like you're paying that money out to an unknown individual or anything like a committed expenditure. So, no, it'll be fine. I'm 40 years old, self-employed on CIS scheme, around 35k a year. What are the chances to get a mortgage? If you've got a deposit, I'd say they're good. You've got income, you've got a deposit, that's fine. I'm currently on 90% interest-only mortgage, but my property has gone up 30%. Right, wow, okay. What are you going to do when that interest-only mortgage ends? Could I apply for a 6% loan-to-value mortgage? If the numbers stack up and you qualify for 60% loan-to-value mortgage, then yes. I have a good deposit, a great credit score, and a good household income wage, but I still can only get 130k. Okay. Again, it's done on multiples of salary, and then any deductions are taken off it. So if you've got committed expenditure, if you've got cars on finance, that will all reduce your affordability. So, you know, that could be the reasons why dependents, adult or child dependents, they will also reduce the amount you can borrow. What's the best format of self-employed to display their income to lenders for a remortgage? There is only one format, and that's in the form of your annual accounts. How much can lend? Is how much you can lend less when it's not your first house? No, it's based on your affordability, on your income. Is the salary counted pre-tax or post? Pre-tax. That's if you're employed. Goes on your gross salary if you're employed. If you're self-employed, it's different kettle of fish. How readily available offset mortgages? They're not very popular. Not many of them about. No credit scores. I live in Spain but have mortgage here. Could I use that to get UK mortgage? No. Oh, warm me up. Are you guaranteed to be able to get a renovation loan from a bank once moved in? No, there's no guarantees in any lending. What should I do? I just started a limited company, works and consultant, need a mortgage. It's not a lot you can do. You're going to need at least 1 year's worth of accounts. This is why going self-employed needs careful consideration, not just about obviously getting paid, doing work and that kind of stuff, but your general financial plans, because certainly if it comes to a mortgage, you do need at least 1 year's accounts and tax returns filed to be able to prove your income. What's the average multiplier on salary for a mortgage? 4.5, generally normal. But depending on your situation, your circumstances, you might be able to get 5, 5.5, 6. I have good credit score, which is irrelevant. But I'm not working. You need income. If you want a mortgage, you need income. And it's credit history we want to look at. We want to look at your whole credit history for 6 years. Just been easily accepted by the bank, but my lawyer asked more invasive. Is this normal? Really don't know what you're saying there. How is on-call and overtime accounted towards your affordability? Absolutely, it is included. So shift allowance, bonuses, overtime, commission, it can all be used towards your income for a mortgage. It just then comes down to finding a lender that's going to take that into account in maximize that effectively. Some might only take 50% of it for your affordability. Others will take 100%. So certainly can all be added. I better applying with partner or alone, both not good credit, no CCJs. If it's the application will always be based off the worst case credit file. So if you apply together, then you can have the benefit of combining incomes and therefore potentially borrowing more. But it will be based off the worst case. You need to go through a broker to make sure that you are being matched to the most appropriate lender for any issues on your file. So interest rates have gone up. When are they likely to go down? We're hoping to exchange end of December. Nobody knows when they're likely to go down. Inflation has gone up this month. It's all down to economics and what's happening in the markets. But all we can tell you is what's happening right now, and that is that rates are going up a bit. We were just rejected for NatWest Mortgage despite a perfect credit report. What can we do? You apply to a different lender. Go through a broker, though, so you're applying to the best solution for your needs. So would it be best to do lots of overtime 3 months before applying? It depends what the lender's going to ask for. To prove your overtime, they may ask for your P60, which shows your total income for the last financial year. So doing last 3 months isn't going to benefit you. Some lenders will look at the last 3 months and average it out. It just depends on the lender. In 2026, what will happen? We'll have winter, spring, summer, autumn, and then winter again. The clocks will go back, the clocks will go forward, the sun will come out, it will rain. Apart from that, no one can really tell you what's going to happen in 2026. How much does betting 10 to 15 times a week affect your application? Negatively. That's excessive. They may deem that as an addiction. Why did rates increase last week? Well, they've actually been increasing for the past few weeks, months actually, sorry, because there was an element of uncertainty as to what was going to happen with the budget. So therefore the markets are a little bit dubious. So they started pricing in some increases. Then the budget happened and they didn't like what they saw. They thought big government borrowing is negative. Gilt prices went up, swap rates went up. So therefore the fixed rates went up. And then, of course, Trump was elected, which adds more uncertainty to the situation. So it's just market conditions and responses to world events. Anyone else seeing solicitors charging a fortune for remortgage for flats? Do we know why? No. The charges that we are seeing have been pretty static. Best advice regarding needing to renovate the house we have bought. We have locked in for 5 years. I don't know. DIY SOS? Don't know. My mate just bets from a separate bank account. He got a mortgage for 340. Interesting. Well, we ask to see all bank accounts. Certainly, if there's transactions between the two, we need to see them. So, yeah. You need a solicitor when it comes to remortgage. It depends. It depends on the product you are remortgaging to, because some lenders actually include a free legal service as part of their product. So in that case, you wouldn't have to pay for a solicitor. If they don't, then yes, you are going to have to pay for a solicitor, because you will be moving the loan to a different lender, which means there's going to be a new lender with a charge against the property. So the deeds have to be updated to reflect that. And that's what a solicitor would do. It's not going to be the same cost as when you bought. It's going to be substantially lower. But yeah, they certainly do charge for that. How would you know if someone has a different bank account? Because we can see if there's transfers between the two. If I see a transfer in a bank account, I'm going to ask to see that other bank account. You recommend a CMAP course provider in UK? I can't, I'm afraid. No. I don't know how many there are. What happens if your mortgage term ends in 2026, being paying interest only? Then you have to pay back when your mortgage ends, you've got to pay back that mortgage. Interest only, that's the problem with interest only. You need to have a strategy running alongside so you can pay it off when the term ends. You're probably going to want to remortgage onto a repayment mortgage. Otherwise, you're going to have to sell the house and pay it back. Can many brokers compare JBSP mortgages? Yeah, they're relatively common. Thanks, didn't know that. What's that? So surely that's a plus with staying with current lender re-solicitor fees. Not necessarily, because as I say, there are lenders out there who in their remortgage products include the solicitors as part of the product. So there's nothing to pay. Is it bad to have two accounts? I have one bills. No. Just show them, because then that will show the transactions on one statement going to another and that kind of stuff. Absolutely not. No, it's fine to have. I've got people that have got 3 or 4 accounts. It's fine. My credit score has gone down last time I remortgaged with effect remortgage in Feb. No, because credit score is irrelevant. It's the content of your credit file. If that was the only thing that changed on your credit file, then no, it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Right, the questions have calmed down a little bit. It gives me a chance to say, if you do want to get in touch, details are up there on TikTok. They are over there on YouTube, because this is live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. Clever, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, if you want to get in touch, then you can send us an email to hello@mellowfinancial.co.uk, as it says there. Or give us a call during office hours when my able assistant, who normally sits at that desk, will be there to answer it. Or you can send us a DM with your name, number, and email address, and someone will get in touch. That person that sits there will get in touch to arrange a call. Alternatively, you can just use the link in the TikTok bio to book a call straight into our diaries. Would you recommend currently fixing for 2 or 5 years? Only if you were a client, because then I would know your full situation and circumstances. Can't do it on TikTok, I'm afraid, because I don't know everything. Just got a mortgage in principle of 155 and have a 20k deposit. Is that a good start? It is a good start, but hopefully you got that mortgage in principle through a broker, because otherwise there's no certainty that it will be suitable for you. Will short-term loans of 18 months affect mortgage applications? Yes, certainly if they're going to be there post-completion, it will affect your affordability. How does it work when someone works in sales and earns commission each month? Will lenders take this? Yep, there are lenders that take commission bonus over time. We'd obviously want to use a lender that takes 100% of that into account. But yeah, you can do it. Mortgage valuation lower than expected, then accepted offer. Renegotiate, pull out, or apply to a second lender. No real point applying to a second lender. But yeah, you can renegotiate or pull out. They're your two options. There's no point second lender, because they'll likely use the same valuer. So it's going to be the same. Can I get a mortgage for a flat with 246 monthly charges? Yes. It depends on your income, though. But yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh, I forgot to say, if you're on TikTok, then if you use the link in the TikTok bio, there is also a link so you can get a free Check My File report, which will show your credit history for the last 6 years. So go and check that out. Will slowly paying off credit card affect your application? Again, it will just affect your affordability because the debt will be there, and it'll just affect how much you can borrow. About to remortgage, going up from 905 to 1.8. This includes paying off Help to Buy. Is it worth paying for Help to Buy? Well, Help to Buy is a loan secured against your property, and after 5 years, you then start paying the interest on it. So it's another outgoing, and it does step up each year. So if you can afford to remortgage and get it gone, then do it. You then have no restrictions over to you as to regards to selling or converting to buy to let or anything like that. So it does remove a load of barriers. What happens this time of year is quiet and sales commission is lower. Will they take older payslips? No, it's your last 3 months payslips. They may ask for your P60 to show your earnings over the last financial year. If you negotiate price after survey valuation, would you have to reapply for a mortgage? No, just adjust the figures and then you just get a new offer. We can afford it, but wanted to use extra money to do an extension. Well, okay, so look at this. PH, if you're doing an extension, you're then going to be adding extra value to your house, which means you're then going to have to pay back even more to the Help to Buy people. So get it cleared now and then get the extension done so you can keep all the benefit of any increase in price. I got given a mortgage from NatWest, rate 4.78, fixed for 5 years. Excellent. No worries, PH. Always here to help. At what stage do you organise a survey? We get it done. So when the clients have had an offer accepted and we've instructed the solicitors, then that's when we get the survey done. You certainly want to get it done long before exchange of contracts, so you have time to review the content of it and potentially pull out of the deal if there's too much negativity on there. Because after exchange of contracts, you are legally bound to go through with the purchase. So yeah, get the survey done before that. Are rates going up at the moment? They are, I'm afraid. I have 2 part-time jobs which make 25k a year. Can I get a mortgage for 75k? Potentially. You need to find a lender that takes 2 jobs into account, but you should be fine. Before applying for a mortgage, it's all done about the same sort of time, Ria. Why are rates going up? Oh, crikey. Because swap rates have gone up based off the reaction to the mortgage, world events such as Trump being elected, anticipation that inflation is going to increase, higher government borrowing, all that kind of stuff. But let's just cap it all at sort of market conditions as to why rates are going up. What's the difference with lender rates and base rate? They're 2 very different things. Ria, no worries. Get to work, I suppose. Very interesting. Lisa, good. Glad you help. Is house price going up? That's a very regional thing. Some areas are having decreases, some areas remaining the same, and some seeing increases. Are pay slips enough for a limited company director? No. We need your accounts and tax returns for the latest year. Ideally, 2 or more years. No, we can't use pay slips for a limited company director. Do you work with any estate agents? No. No. No, we don't. I'm looking to move over the next year or so, but remortgage in Feb. Should I go for 2 or 5 year fix? Can't answer, Ben. I don't know your full situation. But also, if you're looking to move in the next year, there might be other solutions that would be more suitable. You need to speak to a mortgage advisor and go through the whole scenario with them so that they or I could come up with the best solution for you. Best tips for company limited director getting a mortgage. Get your tax returns and accounts filed, and then that's what you use for proof of income. You also need a deposit, but your income is the slight sticking point, as we can only go off annual accounts, and of course that's only once a year. So get them done. Why do estate agents do bidding wars with people when a house will be valued by the mortgage company? Because estate agents are only interested in selling that house for as much as they can. They don't look at the long run in terms of, if it goes way over asking price, chances are that the mortgage valuation is going to come down. But they just chance their arm. If they could sell it for a lot more, who knows? It might get valued at that and it might go through. Therefore, they're going to make more money. What's the lowest you can give for a deposit? 5%, but potentially £5,000. There is a product that allows you to do a deposit of £5,000. Getting accepted onto it, though, is incredibly difficult. That's right, Ben. The more you sell a house for, the more commission they get. They chance in their arm. Chance in their arm. That's what it is. I'm currently buying my Help to Buy. Should I get more than one RICS valuation? No. Get one RICS valuation, send it through to the Help to Buy people. Thoughts on shared ownership. Okay, so shared ownership, 3 main costs to consider: rent, mortgage, and service charge. Service charge goes up and up and up each year, catches a lot of people out. Rent can obviously go up. Mortgages, you just got to deal with that. They go up and down, but you renegotiate those every maybe 2 or 5 years. So there is a relatively stable period to that. But certainly every year, service charge goes up. In some parts of the country, house prices are extortionate. So shared ownership could be the only option available to someone to buy. So in that instance, it's fine. Just do your research into it. You need to speak to a broker beforehand to work out what your strategy is going to be with shared ownership. Are you going to be in it forever? Therefore, do you want to do staircasing to buy more of the property over time? Or is it going to be a stepping stone? So you're going to be in for a bit and then sell it. It just depends how much share you're going to buy to make that more strategically possible. But yeah, certainly do your research. Possibly selling can be an issue because you've got to sell it again through the shared ownership scheme. But speak to a broker, work out your strategy, and then be prepared with the costs and go from there. Competition for shared ownership properties is pretty severe, so actually getting one is difficult as well. But again, if it's the only solution to you, then look at it in great detail before you pull the trigger. Can you transfer a fixed rate mortgage to a new address? Didn't plan to move quite so fixed again. Yes, Emily, yes, it's called porting, and you can do it if your product allows it. So have a look at your paperwork from your mortgage and it will say if porting is allowed. If it is, in simple terms, it's taking the mortgage from one address and moving it over to the next. It does involve an application. It does involve the property being valued and assessed to make sure it fits the lender criteria. But yes, you can. If you then need to do additional borrowing, you can do that from the same lender. Again, that needs to be assessed to make sure you can afford it. And you will end up with 2 sub-accounts on your mortgage account, which can cause a bit of problems further down the line with regards to deal expiry dates and that kind of thing. But again, get in touch with a broker to plan how to deal with that. But yeah, you can. Are flats good to buy? Would be share of freehold, not leasehold. Okay, we'll share a freehold. That's better than leasehold. But yeah, not every lender will do good loan to values on flats. Certainly not new builds. But yeah, if you've got a share freehold, happy days. Is this correct process? Offer accepted, appoint solicitor, contact mortgage broker survey. No, absolutely not. Mortgage broker has to be right at the start of everything. So it goes contact mortgage broker, get your mortgage in principle, get an offer accepted, appoint a solicitor and survey at the same time. Always mortgage advisor first, because if you put an offer in and you can't afford it, you can't get a mortgage for it, then it's just a waste of everyone's time. So yeah, contact the mortgage broker first, get your affordability worked out, get your mortgage in principle sorted out, so then you know how much you can offer, and it should be plain sailing from there. Also, the mortgage broker will take care of everything for you. They'll provide quotes for solicitors, quotes for surveys. They'll do it all for you. Can you explain equity and whether it's okay to take it out? So equity is how much of the property you actually own yourself. You can take it out as long as you can afford it. So it will be in form of additional borrowing, which will be assessed for affordability. But yeah, you can do. Is taking equity out a bad thing? Well, of course, it means you're borrowing more. You're increasing your debt. So from that aspect, yeah, I mean, you're having increased debt. If you're taking it out for a specific reason, such as maybe extensive home improvements, which are going to add a huge amount of value to the property, then it might be beneficial. But yeah, you'd have to think really carefully about it as to whether it's actually suitable for your situation. Do mortgage brokers charge their clients? Some do. Yeah, we do. Is overpaying by, say, £100 a month a good thing? Any overpayments are good because it will limit or reduce the amount of interest you pay. So, happy days. Go on to Money Saving Expert overpayment calculator, put in your normal monthly payment and add the £100 and look at the difference it makes. I think that will answer your question as to whether it's a good thing. I think you'll be surprised. What's your thoughts on limited company, or is it better to buy on my own name, please? Depends on your tax status. Depends on whether you're a high rate taxpayer, low rate taxpayer, whether you're going to look to build a portfolio of buy-to-let properties. Make sure you understand the tax benefits of it. So speak to an accountant or a tax advisor to get the tax lowdown on it. But buying through a limited company, yes, certainly has tax advantages. And yeah, it might be suitable for you. Can you buy with a 5% deposit? You can do. You will need to have a good credit file to do so. But yeah, it all depends if your mortgage rate is less or higher than savings rates. No, it doesn't. That comes into it, but it depends what you want to do, whether you want to pay off your mortgage quicker or not. So actually, right. Time's it. Oh, 9:05. It's 9:05. Should you be at work? The coffee is hitting. Good. Like that. So, okay, it's gone quiet on the comments and the questions. So again, I would direct you to get in touch if you want to. You can call the number up there or send us an email to hello@mellowfinancial.co.uk. You can book a call in straight through the link in the bio, TikTok bio. You can book a call straight into our diaries and go from there. How do I get a trust to buy a house? What? I don't know. How do I get a trust to buy a house? Surely that's the thing you do post-purchase. You put the purchase into a trust. You don't get a trust to buy the house. Anyway, are you pretty much approved by the time they do house valuation? Depends on the process of the lender. Depends on what stage they do it. Do any mortgage providers consider those who have taken out a loan to cover the deposit? Only one. Only one. And it's a committed expenditure, and therefore it will reduce the amount you can borrow. There's only one, and there's no guarantee they'll do it. So yeah, taking out a loan for a deposit really isn't a viable option. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the TikTok link, you can book a call in. You can download a free Check My File report to see your whole credit history for the last 6 years. You can download our free first-time buyer's guide, which will give you a guide if you're a first-time buyer, obviously. That's a free. You can download that. Or you can book a call straight in with us or see the website where you can also do that. Alternatively, you can just get in touch by sending us an email to hello@mellowfinancial.co.uk or call the number above, 01172 510 544, and we will be happy to talk to you and help you out. But it's gone quiet on the questions. I have things to do, so I am probably going to wrap this up now. So I thank you for joining me this morning. I wish you a very happy day. Keep warm because it is cold out there. I had to defrost the car this morning. But yeah, hopefully I will speak to some of you and be able to provide you excellent advice, because that's what we do here at Mellow Financial. All of the advisors, that's what we signed up to do. So do get in touch if we can help you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm. And until next time, take care. Oh, don't forget to follow. That's something I've not said. don't forget to follow, because that's good. If buy home to limited company, is that mortgage provider charge 3% product fees? You can't buy a home in a limited company. You can only buy buy-to-lets in a limited company. But anyway, don't forget to follow, and you will enjoy more of this content as time goes on. Thank you.